Plan and perform vCenter server and ESXi upgrades. Well, this is number 20, our final video together. And in this final video, we touch on, I guess, one of the topics that is of minimal interest to you if you have no vCenter or ESXi, and of maximal interest to you if you already do. For those of us that have ESX in version 4 or previous versions, getting us up to the more recent version with Vsphere 5 is going to be the very first process that you're going to do to bring it into production. And doing so requires a series of steps that really have to be completed in the proper order if you're to do everything successfully. And that's really the case because there are so many elements that are versions within a vCenter environment. So you've got the virtual machines, you've got the virtual machine hardware versions, you've got the VMware tools versions on those virtual machines, you've got the ESXi hosts, and you've got vCenter server itself. You've even got plugins and any VMware solutions that you're using to augment your vSphere environment. So all of these really require attention and a plan of action if you're to go through the upgrade successfully. Now, I will tell you here that there's not much to see as far as an upgrade is concerned, so I mean, I can show you how an installation works. I can let you see once again how ESXi actually goes through an installation, but I think at this point this is probably less interesting to you than really understanding what the quote-unquote official upgrade process is, as I've got here, and then also figuring out what your options are for getting those ESXi hosts updated. And I put this, and I kind of constrained this video down into just these specific elements because really, at this point, you have the understanding that you need in order to accomplish most of these tasks. You really, at this point, need to understand, well, what is the order in order to accomplish them? Now, the official upgrade process, and this comes from VMware's guide to upgrading itself, the official upgrade process begins with a verification that any of the VMware solutions, so the add-on things, or any vCenter server plugins that you have are compatible with this new version, version 5. So you'll want to make sure that those plugins are indeed compatible. Get rid of them if they're not, upgrade them if they are. And then also verify that your vCenter server, the hardware itself, meets the hardware and software requirements. I'll even argue here that your ESXi hosts meet the hardware and software requirements as well. So there's a couple of verification tasks here that just ensure that what you have is sufficient to support this new version. Once you've done that verification, once you're ready to go, the first step in the process is really going through an upgrade of vCenter server. And you've been through a software upgrade before. It's a very simple next finish. And getting that vCenter server and its database and also the information that makes up the server side itself is really the first step in this process because that vCenter server and updating it is what brings you into this new VMware Update Manager. Now, the VMware Update Manager is, for most of us, the tool that we will use to orchestrate the update of the ESXi hosts that we have. And for a lot of us, the reason for that is just simply because it makes things very easy. If you have the Update Manager up and running, well, then you can just create a baseline that is the new version of ESXi and deploy that baseline out to the hosts that you want. Once you have that VMware Update Manager and once you have vCenter server updated, obviously the next step there is to actually go through upgrading those ESXi hosts. Now, I'll tell you, this is something that you're going to want to do in a measured fashion, right? You do have virtual machines.